What's going on, guys? Spud here, and welcome to episode 55 of the Roundup. In today's episode, OpTic Texas win the Monster Invitational, which was a really good event, a pre-season event going into the season. We had 16 teams, including Doug Sensor Martin, playing against the pros for the first time, I believe, in 7 or 8 years. OpTic had a really good grand final with August, who is actually gentlemates, they just haven't actually been announced yet. We're going to look at the tournament. We're just going to look at how each team did. We're also going to quickly talk about the flank invitational as well. I was going to do a prediction video for this last week on Friday, but I just didn't have time, so I do apologise. All of the predictions, so my season predictions, major predictions, etc., will all be next week's episode alongside the first round, the first online matches of the season. They'll also be mentioned in that episode. If you do enjoy this episode of the Roundup, please do like and subscribe. I'm actually just going to release it today. I'm recording it on Monday afternoon. I'm not at work today. I'm just going to get it uploaded. I think we might start doing that, but obviously normally I do work a lot on Monday and Tuesdays, so it will probably still be Wednesday uploads for the majority of the time. I'm working all weekend, but to be fair, my prediction video I might just record on Friday and just upload it next Monday or next Wednesday. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is also the first time I've really watched Black Ops 7 gameplay because haven't bought the game. I'm not interested in buying Call of Duties. I just want to watch the pros play it. But OpTic look very strong going into the season. They are currently the favourites, definitely the favourites to win this year. But obviously it's a long year, so we'll have to see what happens. So first, we're just going to talk about this. So the official double elim bracket for the 75k Monster Gaming Launch Invitational. It's just something a bit different, and I think this has made the season have a lot more hype than other seasons. So it was a 2-day event. It was Saturday, Sunday. Best of fives, best of seven finals, hard punch search, and Overlord. So the first time I've watched Overlord gameplay, let me tell you, Overlord, I was impressed. I was very impressed with Overlord. I am just going to take the webcam off, just so you can see the bracket here. So we had the 12 CDL teams. August is Gentlemates, obviously. They just haven't got a. They obviously just haven't got a official announcement yet, so they were August. Then you had 4 challenger teams. So you had Omit Brooklyn, Bush Gaming, which we're going to talk about as well. Team War, which had the return of Doug Sensor Martin, which no one's expecting since he retired last year. And then obviously the Stallions as well. I don't know how they picked the 4 challenger teams. And I don't know how they've picked who plays who either, to be honest. But that's not important. These were the teams. And yeah, I was expecting, if I'd done a prediction, I would have predicted OpTic to get to the grand finals and it to be OpTic versus Thieves or FaZe or whatever, but obviously I didn't get to do that. Obviously, Bush Gaming is a new challengers team, which is run by the Barstool guys, so like Jersey Jerry. And we're going to talk about this one later because there was some annoyance in the challengers scene already, like a welcome to challengers for Jersey Jerry and Barstool. But we're going to get into the games. Now, all I will say as well on this whole thing is I really hope that we get something like this next year because it's something different, you know. It has a bit of excitement. Obviously, Major One is also an invitational, I believe, so there will be a couple of challenger teams that'll be in that. So that should be really good. So first of all, we're going to talk quickly the flank invitational. So it was you had like 2 ARs, 2 SMGs on different teams. The finals were Mercules' team versus Slash's team. Mercules' team won this 4-2. and that was Dashi, Jodeci's, Mercules, and Real, which was the best team on paper, comfortably. They beat Huke, Nero, Shotzi, and Slasher, and it's a 25k win for that team, so very nice to them. But that was just a quick thing, because we are getting straight into the Invitational. There's a lot of games to cover. Obviously, Breaking Point weren't able to obviously get the footage, the clips from each game. That's completely fine. I wouldn't have used them anyway, except for probably the final. I'll be honest, I didn't watch every single game, I tried to watch as many as I could. So we start with a bit of a shock. Obviously, you've got to remember these are new rosters as well. There's So I've got to kind of remember that. But Surge, obviously, are a CDL team, and they did lose 3-2 to Ormet Brooklyn here. Um, if we look at the stats, obviously Lunas and Abe went positive. On the other side, Fellow with a 1.11. I actually don't know who Hyde and Nate are, but they obviously did alright here, winning a series in this invitational. Obviously, there is going to be new challengers players that I won't have heard of and stuff like that. Obviously, Legend in his first game as a COD Pro, 0.8, not great start, but obviously he will learn. He is a project player, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Then you had Boston Breach versus Cloud9. Obviously, the Cloud9 roster apparently are on the lowest budget out of all the CDL teams, and that's Afro, Beans, Mac, and Vivid. But they do pick up a 3-1 win over the Breach here, who obviously have replaced Awakening with Nasty. And it's a good start here for Cloud9. Obviously, players that have been in the league either last year or the year before, in Afro's case. But Afro had a good game here, 101 kills. Very good. As you can see, predicted the winner. Most people saw Boston winning this, so I would argue that this was a shock result, in all honesty, but maybe not a massive shock. And then we had Miami Heretics versus Augless Gentlemates, whatever you want to call them. They've been put down on here as Gentlemates because obviously it's the Gentlemates roster. So, yeah, look, it's going to be a good season for Gentlemate fans. I think they deserve this after last season going horribly wrong. They've obviously just got some of the best free agents available, and it's a 3-1 win over the Heretics. Also, a problem for Trakes, however you say it, the Argentinian, I believe he's Argentinian. So obviously Miami, he had the visa issues. I mean, this was an online event, but he still hadn't got everything sorted yet for the season. So they still have got Eric Boom as a substitute, and Eric Boom did take part in this event. Not the best series from him, but obviously wouldn't have been expecting to play on short notice. Neptune, though, I'm going to say Neptune looks really good going into this game. So yeah, well done to Gentlemates. And then we had Thieves versus Bush. And Bush took them to game 5, but it was won by the Thieves. Obviously, Bush is Capsidal, Proloot, Spartan, TJ Halley, so they are all players that have played in the league in the last year or so, except Proloot. Obviously, Proloot used to play in the league. Abeezy, Hydra, Kenny, and Scrap, obviously. Expecting big things from the Thieves this year. Obviously, 2 majors and a minor last year, I believe. But obviously, dreadful champs and dreadful EWC. So ultimately, was a poor season, especially for how much money they put into the team. They've got Abeezy and Kenny in, and let's see what happens. Obviously, there is loads of games to go through here, so just trying my best. Then we had Toronto Koi. The first game as being Koi in the CDL. Obviously, it's not a CDL official match, but, you know, against Timor, which obviously had Doug. Doug dropping a 0.5. Not a great series from Doug. Good series from Insight, though. Obviously, Kleenex now playing as the AR as well with Insight, and then you've got Jordan Steves and Real on the SMGs. It's going to be a good team, Koi, going into this season. Obviously, I don't know where they're going to finish, but I'm expecting a decent season from them. Then we had FaZe Vegas versus the Riyadh Falcons. A bad start here for Falcons. The Falcons were definitely the underperformers of this event, I believe. I don't know what to expect from them going into this season. Yeah, they've got a nice team on paper, but that's on paper. Exnid didn't even hit 4,000 damage on 3 maps. Abuza had a really nice series. He was first in FaZe colours. Yeah, look, this is just like, look, I know some people, this is basically for me the equivalent of winning a minor tournament. Obviously, the players get some nice money as well, but it's obviously just a pre-season event. But I do think that there is things to look at in terms of how teams played in this going into the first couple of weeks of online qualifiers because you obviously want to have good momentum from a tournament like this. So yeah, it's hard to really tell at the moment. Now G2 are a really weird one because they had an amazing tournament, which we're obviously going to talk about. Um, But first, we're going to talk about the Royal Ravens because they get a 3-0 victory here. Slasher, Nero, Lurks, and Craze. Very nice for them. Estriel, Kremp, Mamba, and Skies on the other side. They had a really, really good run in this tournament. Obviously, you don't get any money for placing anywhere but first in this one because it is, um, I believe, anywhere. That there wasn't any prizes for second, third, whatever. But obviously, there will be in the CDL. So if they'd got if they did this in Major One, then yeah, it'd be brilliant. Then we had OpTic versus the Stallions, and this was obviously comfortable. Hugh drops a 2.03. Symbols, Derek, Encourage. So Encourage is back. Swooty. Yeah, like I don't know who the fuck Derek is. I'm sorry, Derek. You're obviously a good player, and I wish you all the best this season, but I don't know who the fuck you are. So they were all the winners round one matches. Then we had the loser round one matches, which we start with Boston Breach versus Vancouver Surge. And this was won 3-1 by Surge. By the way, I'm still not used to the maps. That'll take me a few weeks of online qualifiers probably to get used to them. So Boston do go top 16. Surge go through to the next game. Again, Legend is definitely struggling. 6,000 damage is crazy. But obviously he's just switched from Halo back to COD. And I know that Neptune did that, but I don't know if Legend's ever played COD. I don't think he is a COD pro. I think this is his first season, which obviously means he's a rookie. So it's obviously going to take him a bit of time. It's normal. But they do get the win. Then we've got Bush here against Miami. Unfortunately, Bush get absolutely destroyed in the hard point and the S&D. A close game of Overlord. I quite like Overlord so far. Capsidal had a rough one. On the other side, Rencor 1.71. Good series from the Rookie of the Year from 2025 season, sorry. Obviously, there is quite a few rookies this year, so the Rookie of the Year ladder will start after round one. By the way, this tournament has nothing to do with Rookie of the Year or MVP ladder. I'm not including it. So it's only CDL matches in the regular season that, and obviously the majors that actually count for that. Then we have a massive shock. Riyadh Falcons get reverse swept. No, they don't. No, they do. It's a glitch. I think War did reverse sweep the Falcons, and Celium has sold his winning mentality for some cash. It's going to be a long year for the Falcons, I feel, at the moment. I think they'll do better than last year, obviously, but not a good start. Censor might have dropped to 0.69, but he played good on this S&Ds. I think he deserves a bit of credit. That team played well, and it's a huge win, and Falcons go top 16, War advance. Well done to War. I can't believe that Doug Sensor Martin beat Celium in 2025. I actually can't believe it. I'm actually gobsmacked that Doug Sensor Martin beat Celium in 2025. Then we had Stallions versus G2 Minnesota, and G2 Minnesota with a very convincing win here over the Stallions. Skies. Oh, some of the snipes Skies did, by the way. I don't have the footage, but he hit like an insane quick scope. Because obviously snipers were back in Search and Destroy. Really hope they keep them in because it made it more enjoyable in the S&D front. So I'm hoping that we get to see them for this foreseeable future because yeah, that was really, really entertaining. Really, really entertaining. So yeah, I'm hoping that they keep them in. Then we have Cloud9 versus OpTic Brooklyn. Obviously, Cloud9 do win here, so three of the challenger teams went out in top 16. Um, Obviously, War were the only ones that didn't. Cloud9 though do take OpTic Brooklyn down a pretty close map 1 and a map 2, but in the kills department, a point 0.6 from Hyde, a 1.43 from Mac on the other side, and 1.141 from Afro. Afro's had a couple of okay series here by the looks of it. Like I said, there was a lot of games on at the same time, so you can't just really go and watch them, the ones that you want to watch and stuff like that. So it's a bit more difficult. Now we have the battle of. Actually, wait, I don't know what Gentlemates are doing. I don't actually know if it's going to be Gentlemates Paris or what. So this might not be the Battle of LA next season, but it still says it here it is. But Gentlemates do beat Thieves 3-0 here. A very good series. Neptune absolutely frying. Kenny, on the other hand, with a .78 of them. And then he struggled in the other series that Thieves lost. But yeah, a really good result here for Gentlemates. And I think their fans will be really encouraged going into this season after they had a really rough season last year. And obviously there's going to be a major in France, which is going to be electric. There's obviously a major in England as well, in Birmingham. You know, it's the Gentlemates fans were hoping to see them out there. It's going to be really good. Then we had a match which I'd like to hopefully see in a major because I think it'll be a good one. Vegas versus FaZe versus Koi. FaZe win this 3-2. A brilliant map 5 from O4. Obviously, we know how good he is at S&D. And it is the new players that have the highest stats afterwards as well for them. O4 and Abuser. Abuser, they'll be very happy with how Abuser's done so far. But obviously, it's still. They still need to. It's not. They're not. FaZe aren't going to be the same as last season. Can they win events? Yeah, absolutely they can. I think FaZe will win an event this season. But obviously it's just a complete. It's really weird them not being together. The trio. Like, it is really weird. Right, I don't actually know where we're up to. Oh, here we are. We're up to OpTic. They played Royal Ravens in Winners Round 2. Wait, OpTic Brooklyn won a series. They did not get top 16. Why the fuck have I said that? They did not get top 16. I was thinking it was weird because didn't Breach and Falcons lose from the CDL and then obviously Bush and Stallions. So yeah. OpTic easy 3-0. Huke again. I would give. Oh, by the way, I don't think they didn't do an MVP of the event, but Huke MVP for me. 1.64 here. Yeah, pretty dominant from OpTic. OpTic didn't drop a map until Grand Finals, where they ended up dropping 3. They were really good. And then we had losers round 2, and it was Ravens versus Surge, and Ravens win on the 5th map on Scar. A reverse sweep to stay in the tournament and to send Surge home. Well, they're obviously already home, but again, I am going to be pointing out Legends' damage is low. Obviously, we're going to see an improvement, I hope, because obviously he was on OpTic last year, so I'm wishing him all the best in the Halo scene. So I am hoping that he can have a good year here in Call of Duty. But Ravens do advance to losers round 3, so they'll be happy with that. And then we had obviously the Spanish Orgs battling again, Koi versus Miami Heretics. And this one was won by Koi 3-0. Very nice win here for them. Real 1.25 against his old teammates. Rencor had a really rough one, 39 kills. But look at Super's damage, 3,829. But yeah, he's still got 47 kills. A good series clean next. Obviously doing okay on the AR so far, so we'll see how that goes going into the season. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a break in between the first online split. There will obviously be a break in the roundup when that happens. But I'm really looking forward to making this video today. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season a lot. I enjoyed last season, even though OpTic was shit until Mercules came in and then obviously won champs in AWC. But yeah. Then we had Thieves versus War. If Doug Sensor Martin had knocked out Scrap, it would have been Scenes, but they got absolutely fried. And a good effort from War, obviously. They did knock out the Falcons, who spent millions on their roster. Only for Doug Sensor Martin to go, fuck that. Yeah, Scrap here with a plus 26. Good series from him. And then we had our last losers 2 match, which was Ormit Brooklyn versus G2. I was expecting this to be a close series. It wasn't. Map 1 was close-ish, but Kremp was very good this series. He dropped a plus 32 with the most damage in the lobby as well. Very, very good series from Kremp. And G2, obviously, on paper, obviously Mamba came in from Challengers. He's a rookie. Sky's obviously a world champion, but had a really rough year. Kremp obviously had a rough year on Cloud9. Estriel is a solid player, but like hasn't achieved much. Obviously got a top 3 in Major 4 last year, the year before, sorry, in 2023. But apart from that, he obviously hasn't achieved much yet in his very early Call of Duty career. And then we had our winners round 3 matches, and LAG, no, fucking hell, Adam, never call them that again. Gentlemates, 3-1 here against Cloud9. Really good series, and they look very good as a team. Beans had a good series himself, but yeah, honestly, Gentlemates. For me, like, going into this season, I think that the top 4 at the moment, even though one of the 2 of these teams might not have got that in the actual event, I think that there's 5 teams at the moment, I think that are the best 5, and I think that is OpTic, FaZe, Gentlemates, Thieves, and Toronto Koi. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I'm going to do my predictions for next week's episode. I'm going to sort them out on Friday morning probably, and then record it on Friday afternoon. Then we had OpTic versus FaZe, and this just shows how strong OpTic are. Because it's a 3-0, it's too easy. Simp and an 0-4 dropping 0.6s. Mercules with a 1.71. This was an I thought this would be a close-ish series. I did not expect this. And I do think that OpTic will have FaZe's number for most of this year in terms of the matchups. I just think OpTic are just such a strong team. But yeah, good series from OpTic. Then we obviously had loser round 3 matches. We had G2 versus the Thieves, and G2 absolutely slammed them. Kenny with a 0.5, Scrap with a 0.75, a Beezy with a 0.8. On the other side, Estriel went crazy. Mamba had a great series. Skies had a great series. Kremp had a great series. I don't care if he had a -4. All 4 of these players played superbly well here. And a massive shock for G2 to knock out Thieves. A very disappointing tournament for Thieves. And then we had Koi versus Ravens, and this one was won by Toronto Koi 3-1. Statistically, yeah, Ravens might have had more greens, but the only thing that actually matters is who wins the series, and that was Koi. So they advance. Ravens, not a bad showing from Ravens, in all honesty, but let's see how they do when the season actually starts. And then we had losers round 4, which was between Cloud9 and Koi, and Cloud9 win a round 11 to advance, which I was surprised about. Like, I was surprised about that, but well done to Cloud9. Mac had a pretty rough series here in terms of his stats. On the other side, obviously a plus 20 from Afro. Well, it helped. Everyone went neutral or positive for Koi, but yeah, a disappointing way for Koi to exit a round 11, especially against Cloud9. You know, that's a team they should be beating, in my opinion, in the respawns. But can't take away that from Cloud9, a very good result. Then our other losers round 4 match was FaZe versus G2, and after G2 knocked out Thieves, they say, we'll take out anyone and they beat FaZe 3-2. And yeah, Kremp went crazy in this one, a plus 31. He had a really good weekend of Call of Duty here. I feel like G2 were probably expected to be a low-end team going into this season, but I feel like you have to give them a bit of credit. And ultimately, this tournament has helped my predictions because I might have put this team outside of the top 12, outside of the top 8 for champs. But I probably won't now because they look good. They look good. They've obviously got youth and rookies in there with an experienced world champion. I think that is a nice roster. And I'm happy for Skies as well. Some of the players he was doing were magnificent. G2 weren't finished there though. They had their match for top 3 against Cloud9, who obviously came 4th, and it's a 3-1 win here for G2. Skies had a great series here. I think this is the series where he hit this unbelievable snipe. Beans, yeah, the Beans were not on today. They were called in this matchup because it's a .77 for Beans, but G2 advanced to losers finals, which is obviously unbelievable. Then we had our winners final, which was OpTic versus Gentlemates, and once again, OpTic don't drop a map. It's a 3-0 here. Puke, Mercury, shot to all go positive. On the other side though, Envoy with a .48. What? 0.48. So OpTic going to grand finals, not dropping a single map yet in this tournament. They will either be playing Gentlemates or G2 in a wonderful... Honestly, it was like a storyline G2 run here. Unfortunately, it did end in round 10 of S&D at Den. A great effort though from G2, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do going into the season. Ghosty here with the best stats in this series and the most damage. So, yeah, good series from Ghosty. Then we had our grand final, which was OpTic versus Gentlemates, and it was a 4-3. It went to the final map, but OpTic do win this one. It was Den, Colossus, and Exposure for the maps. If we have a look at the stats, everyone positive on the OpTic side. Everyone played well in this series, I would argue. It was a good series, but OpTic ultimately won it. The maps that Gentlemates won were very close compared to the ones that OpTic won, except obviously their Den Overlord. MVP of this series probably went to Huke. Yeah, Huke won that. And that, for me, Huke was my MVP of this event anyway. It was between Huke and Mercules. But yeah, really happy that OpTic won. Obviously, it was a late one last night watching the final. But OpTic are your Monster Energy Invitational winners. $75,000 between them. Very nice start to the season. And now, obviously, they've got some good reps in, ready for the Call of Duty League season to start in just less than 2 weeks. The only other thing I've got to mention in this episode, this is why I didn't want to do the predictions together, just because it's been nearly half an hour now. That's a solid episode. It'll be like a half an hour one when I record it on Friday. But we have to talk about Call of Duty stuff. So Call of Duty League is back on Twitch as well as YouTube now. Really good. People prefer to watch it on YouTube. People prefer to watch it on Twitch. You know, you've got both ways to watch it now. During this event, the Call of Duty League also allowed the players to stream their point of views if they wanted to. So Shotzi was doing his Draza, Simp, I think Mamba was doing his. There was quite a few players that were doing their point of views, which is obviously good for the fans so they can see what's happening. However, one team didn't stream none of their players streamed at all, and this pissed off one of their owners, and this was Bush Gaming. Now, this is what we were going to talk about earlier. So this is a video here from Jersey Jerry. He's I'm just going to play it. Obviously, it's got 3.8 million views. I agree with what he's saying though, but we're just going to listen to it first.
Calls, 150 texts. How is our team not streaming this? How is our team? Listen, and I'll say this: I don't know what the rules, what the CDL is. If we were able to stream, I'm pretty sure the players were able to stream. How are we not streaming this? Okay? The people want to see us play. This should be day one stuff. How can't we get a stream up for the fans to watch? Listen, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And listen, I ain't going to be pushed over with this Bush operation either. I will not be pushed over. From now on, we will stream everything. Okay? Every time we're playing, somebody on the team is streaming. And that's it. And if you don't like it, there's the door. I love this Bush team. I love our players. I love TJ. I love Cap. I love Prolu. I love Spark. But I'm not going to stand for us not streaming and people can't watch it. It ain't going to happen. I put out an incentive today to the players out of my own pocket. $500 to each player if we beat the Thieves. We didn't beat the Thieves, and not only that, but we're trying as an organization to build you guys up. We want you to go to the league. We're happy if you go to the league. That's our plan. We want this to be a successful organization. But us not streaming is crazy. What are we doing? Come on. I'm driving back home now. Hopefully the boys are still playing. I've seen the funny papers.
So, obviously this is quite a lot of annoyance here from Jersey Jerry, and yeah, his points make good. He was offering his team money if they beat the Thieves. They was obviously got to a game 5, so really good effort. But yeah, like I think that, like, why can't they stream it? Do you know what I mean? Like, even if they haven't got like a webcam on, or like Ksan Benji, they all agree. The problem is, I wish other teams had the energy, like someone said there. Like, I do honestly think that I honestly do think that the teams need to be streaming scrims, stuff like that, because the fans want to get involved. Barca will have a big following, all right. You know, this isn't just like some random guy that's wanting to build a team. Barca will have a big following. They could get a good. They would have a good Call of Duty fan base. But the players aren't streaming it. They're not bothered. They just want to try and get back in the league, get the fucking minimum paycheck they can get. Try and get a top 6 or something, get a LAN event and stuff like that. Get a few $1,000s, stuff like that. It's just, unfortunately, it's shit. I think it's shit, honestly. That people don't stream. If I was a Call of Duty player, I would stream as much as I could. I know people go, well, you don't even stream now. Yeah, but I quit streaming. All right, there's a difference. I just think that it's disappointing on the players' side, but I think it's good that someone's called them out on it, and hopefully other organisations will do the same, because I can't see like the Royal Ravens organisation giving a fuck, to be honest. But yeah. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this roundup. Obviously, this is quite a long one. No, it wasn't. It was like a normal episode, basically. There's just so many matches to go through. I feel like Major One's episode, by the way, is going to be so long because obviously it's an invitational, so there's 16 teams, so there's going to be a lot more matches. I think that's going to be a very long episode. But yeah, do like this. I'm going to just put it out at 6 tonight. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Do like the video if you enjoyed. And next week's episode will be the prediction, sorry. I'm so bad at outros. I'm just gonna go. Alright. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye for now.